Ancient Faith Radio brings you the Law of the Spirit with Father Maxime Lissac. Questions and answers on the spiritual life. Father Maxime is the priest at Christ the Savior Orthodox Church in Ottawa, Ontario.
The question is, can you think your sins and not say them at confession? Well, I suppose you could. And there's no question that the Lord who knows your heart would understand that. But I think this brings us back to making the confession. You know, I wouldn't want everybody to think the liturgy on Sunday morning. It could be just a little bit too ethereal. You know, you could just picture the priest stands up at the altar and everybody says, "What's he doing? Why aren't you starting?" And the priest says, "What do you mean? I prayed, I thought, blessed is the kingdom. I bless the kingdom, that's enough." Well, no one else knew that the priest opened the liturgy. So, since confession is a liturgical act, it involves speaking. Not simply confession of sins, but as I mentioned, confession of faith. It's a liturgical act, it's a prayer. And so I think ultimately we should confess our sins verbally. I suppose there are those situations, perhaps sometimes, you know, when a very small child is coming to confession, they start that way. And the priest has to respect the innocence of a child and give them their space, you know, and not demand, perhaps right away, that the child say everything. This is my own personal opinion, that children who are coming to confession, children, by the way, can be enormously open in confession and incredibly direct. They also tend not to justify anything they've done. There's a kind of simplicity which is very disarming about a child coming to confession, because it's all over within seconds, because there's no introduction, no conclusion, no attempt to cover anything, and no self-justification. No wonder they get forgiveness so easily and quickly and experience it. This is the childlike way of coming to confession. But, so I would say the thinking of the confession is again only in highly exceptional situations. This could not be the norm because it is a liturgical act, and not only do we sing and speak, proclaim the gospel in the church, we also do things. You know, we move around, we do things. Liturgy is something we do, and we sing and say. Confession is no exception. It's also liturgical.
If you have a question on the spiritual life, you can write to Father Maxime at lawofthespirit@ancientfaith.com. And be sure to like this podcast on Facebook. This has been a listener-supported presentation of Ancient Faith Radio.